I remember a certain draft expert on this podcast saying the Seahawks will definitely draft him, and lo and behold, they have drafted him.
You take this guy who excelled in run stuffing, put a bit of weight on him, stick him in that front three with Cameron Young, and then Draymond Jones goes as the defensive end on the left on an island against the tackle. We are cooking. We are absolutely cooking.
Mitch has got to go first.
Oh, he's going first.
It's his boy.
I've already picked the feather up off my desk. I'm going to pass it over to you so you can put it into your cap. Round 5, pick 151, defensive end Mike Morris from Michigan. Yes, I remember a certain draft expert on this podcast saying the Seahawks will definitely draft him, and lo and behold, they have drafted him. I will just give the floor to you straight away, Mitch, because you've nailed this one. Go ahead.
Wax lyrical, my dude.
This is where I'm going to just wallow for a little bit. So when we did the pod, I mentioned Mike Morris was a guy we were really high on. And I also mentioned that he may well be a defensive end in a front three, as well as doing the job he's excelled at in college, which is being a run-stuffing, edge-setting defensive end in a front four. So both of our looks, 3 front and 4 front, he's got a role. But I also said that he'll probably have to put on some weight to perform as a defensive end in a front three, because he's not quite the bear as a 275-pound edge setter. Right, he was kind of a tweener. They were trying to rush the passer with him. I think he got moderate pass rushing stats. I think about 7 sacks, 7 or 8 last year, 11 tackles for a loss, because he was trying to be a pass rusher and edge defender. So my projection was Seahawks front three. He'll play as a defensive end as a bear in a front three, and he'll need to put on about 20 pounds. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen the phone call. The first line, did you put the weight on?
Yes, this is Mike.
Mike, hey, it's John Schneider with the Seahawks. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
You doing good?
What's up?
You remember us, right?
Yeah, I remember y'all, man.
Okay, we had a blast with you. Hey, we're at 151, and hey, man, you got that weight on, right? We saw that weight this morning, so all right, you're a defensive lineman, brother. Let's go.
Not only had I called the pick in the 5th round, 4th, 5th round, I projected him out, but not only did we call the pick, I also called the change of position, and that excites me massively because he's extremely good with his hands. His handwork is unbelievable. He's got long arms, they're heavy hands. He's brilliant with his handwork. He's a really shifty dude, and he's extremely strong. I don't know what they do. I don't know what training plans they've got their front line at Michigan, but Mazi Smith and Mike Morris are 2 of the strongest linemen you'll ever wish to see. So putting a guy like that on a program where he puts on a bit more weight and stick him in a front three is frightening, by the way. And you mentioned the new defensive end who we took from Broncos.
Draymond Jones.
Draymond Jones, thank you. And we mentioned about maybe him being a defensive end or a defensive tackle in a front three. You take this guy who excelled in run stuffing, put a bit of weight on him, stick him in that front three with Cameron Young, and then Draymond Jones goes as the defensive end on the left on an island against a tackle. We are cooking. We are absolutely cooking. Jaron Reed, Cameron Young, Mike Morris in a front three with Mike Morris now 295 pounds, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great defensive scheme up front. I'm so excited by it.
Surely then, by your excitement, you're not concerned with our run defense this year. You think it's going to improve with
we definitely can. We definitely improved the back end of it. I mean, putting Bobby Wagner there is an improvement. Jordan Love had the best tackling complete. Was it the highest percentage of tackles made?
Yeah,
he missed like 3 tackles in a season. That in itself is enormous.
I'm just talking. Sorry, here I'm just talking. Yeah, I'm just talking about the line itself because obviously, in the off season we can get more in the whole defense. But just as that line, because we're on it at the moment, what I was talking to you before about, just listening to you talk, all these people are still threatening that we've not done enough on the D line. Clearly, it's a bit like the O line, what we just said, isn't it? am I right in thinking they've got a load of players who they now can rotate?
Yeah,
they've just got players.
So, and I'll paint a picture, right? Imagine it's first down, right? The opponent's offense have just walked out. We start in a 4-3, okay? And our personnel up front are Mike Morris on the left edge, and you've got Draymond Jones on the right edge. You've got Cameron Young in the middle, and you've got Jaron Reed in the middle. That's your front four. That's quite strong. A little inexperienced with Mike Morris, maybe, but that's quite strong. Okay, we hold them. We stuff the run, right? It's 2nd and 9, right? And then they get another moderate gain, like 3 yards or so. We're now looking at third down. Call it 3rd down and 4, right? You change to a 3 front and you're trying to collapse the pocket and put pressure on the pass. So you're trying to contain, right? And you're trying to make a big splash on that third down. Your personnel changes. You've got Draymond Jones now as a defensive end rushing, lined up against the tackler. You've got the nose tackle, Cameron Young, on the center. And then you've got Jaron Reed on a guard, and you've got Mike Morris on a guard. You've not had to change any personnel. Mike Morris is hailed for having a great motor and can go down after down after down. So has Cameron Young, by the way. So has Draymond Jones. Jaron Reed's done it for years as well, assuming he hasn't lost a yard. You've not changed the front 4 personnel, but you've completely changed the system.
Do you know, you're talking, and it reminds me of 2012, 2013, 2014, your Red Bryant, your Me Bain, that group.
X-Factor players.
The cluster of, when they got them, some of them were just people like, who, when, where, but the rotation worked.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We've got those pieces now, haven't we?
You've got to think behind
that 3. Sorry to interrupt you. Behind that front 3, which is essentially a 4 because you've got a defensive end, you've got Draymond Jones off on the side against the tackle trying to get a 1-on-1. You've also got an edge rushing from the back 4 in the linebackers. So that's Nwosu on the one side, Draymond Jones on the other side, taking on a 1-to-1 taking on a 1-on-1 with tackles, while the front 3 are mauling and trying to crush the pocket. I love Nwosi's chance 1-on-1. I like Draymond Jones's chance 1-on-1. What happens when you've occupied the front 5 and then Jamal Adams goes charging through a gap?
It's exciting.
You've got me excited, Mitch. You've got me excited.
I'm not saying we've drafted the world's greatest front 4, but we've now got a first choice front 4 that can do both schemes really well. There's huge upside with how good they can be as a group because it's quite a young group. Nwosu's only 26, and then you've got 2 drafted players in there. Jaron Reed's experienced head in there. I know he's 31, right? 32, 31.
This is but everything diverse. You're saying. Sorry, just to jump in there. Everything you're saying is exactly what I'm saying about how I genuinely believe that Pete, not his blind arrogance in himself. I think he genuinely's got that fucking magic dust in his hand, because everything you're saying reminds me of when we were at our peak. Everything you've said, what these players are going to come in and bring is what we were at our peak. I know you two, because James, you came at the Super Bowl. Mitch, you started the Super Bowl
around there. I was Legion of Boom, and it's Hay, so at the beginning of that.
Josh, you were a lot earlier, weren't you? Yeah, so
stands to reason because I'm a hell of a lot older than
you. Because I was like 2010. Not saying that you two wouldn't have gone back and watched them games, but it just reminds me watching that 2012, 2013, leading up to the Super Bowl and that era. Everything you're talking to me about just reminds me, and that's why I think Pete, again, he's just got that magic dust in his hand. I think he's feeling it. I think he's like, this is my one shot, and I feel like he's going to pull the trigger. This is his true one shot, not his arrogant blindness. I think this could all backfire, and you might hear a lot of fucking bad rants off me during the season. But
let's hope it doesn't.
Positive Pez.
Quick draft grade then on Mike Morris. I'll give that one an A- for the round that we took him in, and again I'm just relying on how highly Mitch is speaking of him. He must be good, so I'm going to give him an A-. Pez,
an A because of Mitch's convinced me we're going to be elite.
That's fair enough. Josh?
I'm going A- as well. I think he's a great player. I think we picked him up at the right sort of point in this draft as well. And he, like Mitch has said, he offers a lot of positional versatility, which is what we need on this to carry a long playoff run.
Love it. Mitch?
It's an A+ for me. I was really high.
Yeah,
on
of
him.
course it was going to be an A+.
I was high on him anyway.
With a tinge of smugness.
There's a lot of smug, but I usually try to rein myself in a bit. But on this occasion, I'm just wallowing. I want to say one more thing. It's an A for me. But there's a funny little thing in here in that he did his combine and his pro day with a high ankle sprain, which means he tested appallingly badly on his shuttle runs, not shuttle runs, but there's the drill. I can't remember the name of the bloody drill, the one that the D linemen do where they look like they're trying to be ballerinas, but they're basically elephants in tutus slapping bags. Well, either way, he looked horrible doing it, and his 40-yard dash was almost half a second slower than the one he ran the year before. That was on record the year before. So I think he dropped down people's draft boards dramatically because he tested like crap at the combine. But we were interested in him long before that, and we knew what he could do. And I think that massively played into where we got him.